Hello, this evening we're going to do some more of our English practices. Let's say something about our weather before we dive into our main topic. It's still really hot today, but tomorrow is already May 1st, so I'm thinking that it'll be a lot cooler soon. We know that summer ends by the time May comes and the first fall of the rain arrives. And so when that time comes, we are now already out of summer. And that's something that we've been hearing a lot about, especially when we were young, when the grandparents, for example, would say that, oh, it's already May. Especially when you see the kids outside in the streets, playing outside and bathing under the rainfall. And that's when you know that it's already the rainy season. And we also know that when the rainy season comes, there will be floods, there will be vehicles, cars will be stranded. But I think that type of news, I haven't been hearing a lot about that anymore here in the Philippines, or maybe because I didn't watch too many news anymore after a while. I think there was a time when I was saying that eventually the news, if you watch the news each and every day, you get this sense that there's a lot of problems. There are a lot of problems. There are a lot of people who are doing some kind of evil thing that it makes you even more worried. It makes you even more un unsure about things. So at the end, the advice is do take care, and so no need to watch the news all the time, right? So I think there was a time when I was thinking that it looks like it was, I mean, every day you watch the news, all these criminals, all these robberies, all these things that are happening that seem to be always there. So in the end, I thought that okay, maybe I should use my time to do other stuff. And I think that was a time when I was living in a way that we can say is kind of like a monk. One of those periods in my life when I was living a monk lifestyle. Of course, we know that there are so many variations of monks that maybe your type is kind of not really included in the real monk lifestyle. Okay, so but in any case, what I meant was just live the type of life where you don't need to watch all these news all the time because you already know the message, which is to take care. And the next thing that you can do is to exercise. So exercise, it can be in the morning, do jogs. In the evening, that's also okay. Do your jogs. When you eat, you don't need to eat too much because usually when you jog, afterwards you drink a lot of water, eat an orange or something like that, and then you wouldn't want to eat too much anymore because you just drank so much water. And then what else? Read something about spirituality, about upliftment. People, I think, who have this um, viewpoint about life where um, the guys who have lived for a much longer time have realized and are imparting to people these ideas, and maybe you can learn something from them. And I think that's a lot better than having to go through all these things and then at the end you realize that it's the same thing that this guy was saying. If only you had read his book, or if only you have listened to whatever he was saying when you were much younger, then you would have probably avoided the other stuff that he was already telling you. Like what? Like, for example, exercise. What else? Like having this type of life where uh, you don't necessarily have to be always glued to your computer and looking at all these SNS. We call them SNS because they supposedly mean social networking services or social media, but in the end, what you get is negativity. You get people who share with you all these photos where they travel to all these places and you don't have the money, and so you feel jealous. You feel that why is it like that? It's unfair. I'm working, they're not, and they get to travel to all these places, right? And so you feel negativity, and that also affects your work, affects your lifestyle, and you realize that you've just used up 30 minutes of your life, 1 hour of your life, just looking at all these posts, all these photos that in the end only gives you negativity. So what you can do if that seems to be the outcome is to get out of that loop and do something where you can gain more positivity. And I think exercising, eating healthy food, and because people when they're stressed out they just go out and eat, and even though they don't anymore look at exactly the food that they're eating, because sometimes people just want to eat and eat and eat, and so at the end they find that they're overweight because they ate so much of these food that they've gained so much weight, and they can't burn all these calories, they can't burn all these fats, for example. So they end up being more miserable because they see the other guys who don't seem to have that kind of problem. And I think I was saying this also in Japanese class yesterday, or last Sunday, when I went to the Philippine Christian University to be a proctor there for an exam from Philnitz. Then I was coming back, I was riding a train, and I saw all these children, all these young girls dressed up with makeup and looking at the other young girls there and seeming to be in competition with one another. And I thought that maybe they're competing on TikTok or something like that, but we know that TikTok, you get a lot of views but you don't get money. And then people would add this notion that why is this girl dancing in this way? Maybe she's on drugs, and then that's when you get even deeper into the spiral, deeper into the problem, where you can't get out anymore. They can't say things directly. They can't explain things well anymore. What are you doing? I don't know. I was just dancing here. There's nothing underlying here that we identify and classify to be with illegal drugs or something, right? So they'd be uh, they'd be less clear. They'd be saying stuff indirectly, and this makes things a lot difficult to understand. But in the end, we know that you are acting in a strange way. You're not telling us things in a direct manner that we think that you are hiding something, right? And that becomes a problem because when people are not comfortable saying things anymore, when they feel that we'd rather be quiet and not explain things as well as we should, then things becomes a lot more troublesome because people would start to do things that are strange. Like what? Like for example, they add all these excess movements, excess actions. Like what actions? Like for example, at the clinic, you pass by. When you pass by, there's suddenly a movement. I think I've seen that commercial before too. And then when you pass by again, there's no movement. So it's only when you're going to the toilet that there's movement. When you come back, um, there are times when there's no there's no movement anymore, right? So something like that. And so um, if we are in that type of situation, then people would start to do things strangely in response. Strange things in response to. So I'll also move when you pass by, okay? So if we get in that type of communication, if we can call that communication, when we're really in trouble, when we're really in an emergency, and even if it's not us but other people who are also in an emergency, then things are a lot more inefficient and things are slow. The way to solve that is to clarify things, speak things in a clear manner. I think that's what we need to do. Okay? Alright, so I think that should be enough for now. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see each other soon.